Right. We are going to talk about three different types of, financial analysis tools, which we call cost benefit analysis. The first one, payback analysis. That's what we have finished last time. Today, we are going to talk about return on investment and also present value analysis. So that's my plan for today. Right. Now, when you want to do cost benefit analysis part, we started with the payback analysis. Under that, we discuss how cost and benefits actually occur, right? Now, let's assume that in our x-axis, we have a timeline. Y-axis is actually the costs. And when you are developing a new information system, you can see there will be high cost is incurred during this period, and gradually the cost will be reduced. So after this point, the software system is in operation, and then it will be a fixed line, and then after some time it go increasing. The reason for that is maybe maintenance, right? Maybe the requirements are not meeting, new requirements are there. So this is how a typical cost curve look like. On the other hand, if you look at the benefits, now this is the timeline, and this is the benefits when you convert into dollar amount. And during the system development, usually we don't get any benefit because system is not available yet. But then, once the system in place and keeps on operating, you can see that it will keep on increasing. And, after some time, it will settle down. Right. Now, when you put them two curves together, right? And then the total amount of costs that you have spent on a project, if you compare with the total benefits that you are receiving, when it cost equals with the benefits you are getting, the time it takes is known as payback period. And that's what we discussed last time. So that means when you get cumulative cost and cumulative benefits together, when they are matched, right, we can say that it's a payback period. It's something like how long you are going to wait to get the amount that you have actually, spent. And simply that is what we call the payback period, right? So in payback analysis, as we discussed already, we calculate the time to take the accumulated benefits equals to accumulate costs, right? And last time we were discussing how we can do this with a given example. So you can see here, we have project A and we have project B. And then we have get an yearly, we know how much we are going to spend and how much we are going to get as benefits. When the two meets, we know that it will be the payback period. Just by observing the costs, what you can say right now is between year number 4 and 5, costs and cumulative benefits meets each other. That means after 4 years, basically you will get the amount of money you spend will be same as amount of benefits you are getting. Similar to project B as well, you will see it's again between 4 and 5. We have 191,000 and then 217, 156, 238, which means around this line, we meet each other, right? But you can see that if you draw this in Excel, for example, if you draw two curves, when the two curves meets, you can see that it's the time period, right? So this we will do in our interactive session another day. But for the time being, I can see, we can see that it's very close to year number 4. So that is the payback period for project A. And then for project B, you can see it's a middle of 4 and 5. So which means if you look at the payback period, when you evaluate the two projects, the project A is better than project B. Okay. Project A is better than project B because we will get amount of money that we have spent as benefits by 4 years time. Here it will be about like little more than 4.5 years. Right. Let's move on to the next one. So the second one that we are going to discuss under financial analysis tools or cost and benefit analysis is return on investment. Now, one of the problems that we had from the previous one is we will not consider the total benefits that we are going to get. So in return on investment, ROI, what happens? We will look at the total cost and total benefits. So we will get the difference between the benefit and cost as a percentage of total cost that you have spent. And this is what we call ROI. So now let's go back. Here you can see we have total cost is 181,000. Benefit is 213,000. So to calculate the ROI for project A, right? So if you take ROI for project A, right? Now, let's say ROI, return of investment, ROI for project A, let's say. Now, to calculate the ROI for project A, so we have to first get total benefits, that is 213,000. Subtract the total cost, 181,000. And you have to divide by again 181,000. So simply you are going to get this as a percentage of total costs. Because in previous case, we have never thought about this, right? So let's divide and see how much we are getting. So let me take the calculator. So what we have is about like, right? We have 213,000 divided by 181,000. Sorry, first of all, you have reduced that 213,000, subtract 181,000, and you divide by 181,000. So which is about 0.176, roughly about 17%. 6, right? So if you take this, so this will be around like 17.68, right? So this is the ROI. Similar to that, right? Can you calculate the ROI for project B? Okay, so let's calculate for ROI for project B as well. So ROI for project B, first of all, look at the cumulative benefits. So that's 330,000, that the total benefits, and total cost 247,500. That the costs divide by 247,500. right? So now let's calculate. So we first need to subtract 330,000, subtract 247,000, and then you divide by 247,500. So it's about like 33%, right? Is it? Can you check? Right. So when you look at ROI, we will get, right, something like this. Return on investment, ROI. So project A, total benefit, subtract total cost, divide by total cost. It's around 17.7 when you round it to one decimal place. Project B, we have 330,000, subtract 247,500, divide by 247,500. It's 33%. So ROI for project A is 17%, and then ROI for project E is 33%. Okay, good. The next one, okay, now how do you decide whether you are going to select project O or project D based on ROI? Now remember, this is not like in our previous case, right? So usually when organization use ROI, they will say, okay, minimum ROI. Now, what do you mean by minimum? That means, for example, in this case, let's say the company specified the minimum ROI 15%. What do you think? Project A, we have 17.7. That means it's exceed the minimum ROI. It's good. Then look at project B. It's about 33.3. Again, little more than the minimum ROI, assuming that it's 50. So according to the minimum ROI, we can say both project A and project B will meet the criteria. But if you want, we can rank the projects. Now, for example, in this particular case, now it's obvious that project B will get higher ROI and it's better than the project A. So when you want to rank the project, we can also use ROI and we can rank them based on the ROI value, right? So this is our second example. Okay, right. Any questions on this part? Are you all familiar with this? Agreed? Anything that you would like to clarify? Yes. Anything that you would like to clarify? Okay. So then we'll move to the next one. Right. So to ROI, now we have seen, we are going to look at overall return. So the problem with the ROI is, although you will receive some profits, the profit comes in future, right? Profit comes in future. So now the problem with that is, when you're getting some amount of money in future, that is, you have to look back how much it will worth for today's value. Otherwise, sometimes we might not see the benefit that we are getting, right? That means the timing we are not going to consider in the previous case. Let me give an example, right? I want everybody to answer to this question, right? You can raise your hands. I will give you two options. So let's say I'm going to give you 100 rupees, right? I will give you in two ways. I will give you 100 rupees today, 100 rupees today, B 1 year after. Which one you prefer, right? A or B? Yes, I'm going to give you 100 rupees. One option, you can get it today, or you can get it 1 year after. My question is, when you would like to have it? Is it today or is it 1 year after? Okay, so this is first scenario. The second one, give you 100 today. So let me say this is C. Right. Another situation. Okay, I will give you 100 rupees today, or else I can give 110 after 1 year time. If you're thinking of as these two options you have, which one you are going to select? Is it A or B, or is it C or D? First case, what is your choice? Second case, what is your choice? Yes, I got one answer from Abhay Surya that he prefer A and C, right? Getting 100 rupees today and then again 100 today. Yes, what do you think? Others, what do you think? Now, question is the value of money. What will happen? When you say 100 rupees today, right? Is that the same value will be 100 after 1 year time? So that was the question, right? Pasindu also saying A and C. I hope you got my point, right? So for example, if the bank is giving 10% interest, let's say the bank today gives a 10% interest, right? So if you have 100 rupees today, what will happen? It becomes 110, right? 1 year after. right? You got my point. Okay, I'm going to ask the question is the other way around. Now you know that why we prefer A for the first case, because we know that it's better to get 100 rupees now because you can invest in some other means and you can get more than 100 after 1 year time. So best possibility would be, getting it here, right? Better to get it today, right? In this particular case. And this particular case, it depends on how much interest you can earn. Now, let's say if you have 10% interest rate, C and D both are the same, right? If there's a 10% interest and getting 100 is also same as getting 110 after 1 year time. Both are the same. If your interest rate is more than 10%, then you should go for D, right? You should go for D if the interest is more than 10%. If the interest is less than 10%, then you better give you with, sorry, if you get the interest more than 10%, right, you better go with C, because then you will get 110 or more. But if your interest rate is less than 10%, then you better go with D. So that's how you should think about it. So the choice C or D actually depends on what is the annual interest rate. If it is more, then you go with C. If it is less, then you go with D, right? That's how you should think about this. So let's say we have a 10% interest. So if you invest 100 today, after 1 year, you will get 110. So let's say after 1 year, if you're getting 1, how much you have to have today? Yes. So I ask the question other way around. If I have 100 today with the 10% interest, we'll get 110. Okay, that was agreement. Now to get 1, how much you have to have today? Yes. What do you do? So both, right? To get this is to 1, you have to divide by 110. So what if when you divide 100 by 110? So this should be 100 divided by 110, isn't it? Which is how much? So we have 100 divided by 110. So that will be 0.91. So what you need to have today to get 0.91, isn't it? So this should be 0.91. So the question that I have asked, if you have 10% interest rate, to get, right, to get 1 after 1 year, you need 0.91 today, right? To get 1 after 1 year, you need 0.91 today. Got my point? Okay. Now I'm going to ask a question again. Now to get 1 after 2 years, how much you have to have? to get one after 2 years, you need what? How much you have to have today? Yes. How much you need to have today? Yes. How do you calculate? Like, let's say 100, if we have 100, after 1 year with the 10%, we are getting 110. After 2 years, how much we are getting? Yes. We have 100 today. After 1 year time with the 10% interest, we'll get 110. My question is, after 2 years, how much you are getting? Yes. Let's say we have 100 today. After 1 year, we are getting 110. My question is, how much you are getting after 2 years time? Yes, multiply by 10%. Like, you have to multiply 110 into 110 divided by 100. So 1.1. So this will be 121. Which means if you are to get one today, sorry, one after 2 years, right? So we have to divide 100 by 121, isn't it? So 0.83, right? So majority of you got the correct answer. 0.83. So this is what usually when you want to have investments, right? Now, for example, in the same way, if you calculate this, you can see how much you are getting actually. Let's say you deposit 100 rupees today with a 10% interest, and how much you are getting after 40 years, how many times, you'll be surprised. Because you are getting cumulative interest, isn't it? Right. Okay, this is exactly what we are going to see, right, or witness with when we talk about net present value problems, right? So let's move on to the tables. Actually, you don't have to calculate this. Usually we will get a table with all this information. Now remember that here we have assumed that the interest rate is 10%. It could be less than 10%, it could be more than 10%, right? Okay. So let's move on to the next one. So present value means future dollar is the amount of money that when invested today at a specific interest rate grows to exactly $1 at a certain point of future. So present value, we are going to talk about here with the dollar amounts. So how much what you have to have.
வீட்டுல அம்மா அப்பா இருப்பாங்க. அது செஞ்சு வைக்கி நீ இவன் மெச்சி கிச்சின்னு பேய்க்கு இருந்தானா?
Ashan, your mic. Right. So to perform the net present value analysis, we have to have these factors, and these factors are usually given in the tables, and the tables are called present value tables. So now let me show you present value tables, right? So in my previous example, this is what we actually manually calculate. We assume that we have 10% interest rate, and to get exactly $1 after 1 year, this is the amount that we would like to have. We said 0.91 or 0.909. So this is how much you have to get $1 after 2 years time. Similarly, if you want to get $1 after 10 years time, right? This is how much you have to have it today. I hope now you understand the idea of present value tables. Now, for example, here what it says, given 6% of interest rate, you have to have 0.943 today to get $1 1 year after. And you have to have 0.558 today to get $1 after 10 years time. Right? So now that we know this information, we can easily calculate, given any amount you have, we can calculate the value of today, the present value. So let's see how we could do this. Right? Now let's say we want to find out present value $1, 12% for 5 years. $1, 12% for 5 years. 12% for 5 years. We have to have 5 years. 12%. So the value is this 0.567. So that means, right, to get $1 with the interest rate of 12%. So after 5 years, we have to have 0.567. So therefore, if you want to have the value 3,000 for 12% for 5 years will be 1,701. Right? So you need 1,701 today to get 3,000 after 5 years time. Right. Now that we got the important idea, now we can perform present value analysis. Now, what do you mean by present value analysis? So given a problem, now we know we have benefits as well as we have costs, right? Now we have to adjust these benefit at cost to calculate what will be the net present value, right? So net present value, what we are going to do, we are going to calculate the total present value of the benefits, and we subtract with total present value of costs. So both costs and benefits, we calculate the values in the present value. Now, usually, if you get a positive value, I will explain. If you get a positive value, then this is economic feasible, right? So that's how we are going to make use of present value analysis. Right. Now let's perform present value analysis for project A and project B. Right. So we'll go back to our problem. So here are the values we have given for project A and project B. So I'm going to take an Excel sheet to perform this calculation. So let's take Excel sheet. So what we are going to do is we are going to perform net present value analysis for project A and project B. I will first start with the project A, and then you are going to work on project B, and you are going to submit as an individual assignment for today's class, right? Everybody should submit it today. So carefully look at what I'm actually doing. So now what we need to do is we need to find all the cost and benefits, right? So I will first start with the project A, and then I will calculate all the benefits and all the costs, and we are going to get the difference. Okay, all the costs and the benefits. That's what we are going to do. Okay, right. So let's start. Right, let's put up what's first, benefits. Benefits, right? So when we calculate benefits, we have to look for the year values, right? So what is the benefit for year number 0? That means initially, after 1 year, after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and so on. So let's see again the values. Right. So benefits we have to put up. So what will happen after initially? So in project A, we didn't have any. So the benefits are, okay, sorry, 3,000. So we have 3,000, right? Likewise, let's put up other values as well. So the next one, after 1 year, we get 31,000, then 62,000, and 96,000, 132,000, and sorry, I made a mistake. So it should be the benefits I have listed, not the cumulative one. 3,000. So this should be 28,000. So this should be 31,000. So this should be 34,000. This should be 36,000. This should be 39,000. 42,000. So this is the future amount that we are getting. This is after 6 years we are getting the benefit 4,200. Now look at the net present values on the tables. So let's look at, right? So I'm going back. I'm going to look at, net present values. So let's assume that the interest rate. Right? Now that we have the values, right? Proportionately, when you have $1, it will be 1 for this year. Then 0.893, if you assume in the interest rate is 12%. Then 0.797, 0.712, right? 712, 636, 636, 0.567, 0.507. So that's about for 6 years. Right. Now that we have this information, we'll calculate the present value. So what we have to do is we have to multiply with the amount what we have today. P2. So that will be 3,000. So you see how the values are changing. Right. Next one. We'll calculate the cumulative benefits by summing up everything. Right. So this is what we are getting. Next one, costs. So look at the cost in project A. Right. So the cost will be 60,000 in the beginning. 17,000, 18,500, 19,200, 21,000, 22,000, 23,300. Okay, so you need to have the same values. Right, now we will have these values because these values we are getting from the table. We'll put that. And then we will say, okay, we take this one, we multiply. Yes, with the rate. So we calculate this and we will say sum. And the difference is you can subtract this much. So let me check again whether I make any mistakes. We have 6,000, 17,000, 18,500, 21,000, 22,000, 23,000. And previous one, we have 42,000, right? We miss 1 0. Okay, now we are getting, okay, so what the value that we are getting is right now we are getting the difference as 1983. So what we did by looking at the present value table, we got the value as of today. So to get $1, you have to have 0.893 after 1 year. You have to have today 0.9797 to get $1 after 2 years. And we multiplied everything, we adjusted. So we get sum it up, the how much benefits we are getting when you evaluate the value for today's net present value. Similarly, we also evaluate to cost also today's value, and it's a positive value. Right. Now let me share this information with you. For a few things I'm going to share with you. First of all, right, my calculation. So I have put in the WhatsApp. Then we will also get the project details that I have already shared with you. Project details I have already shared with you. So what is missing is net present value. So that table I also going to share with you, net present value. So let's assume that the rate is 12%. So I'm going to get net present value here. I will put the present value table. Again, I have put right. Calculate the same for project B. Calculate the same for project B. So it will be an individual assignment. So we have 129 participants for today. So I will give you a deadline. We have about 1 hour. I want you to spend 1 hour on this and submit it by 1 p.m. today. Right? Same calculation for project B. So we'll have some more exercises during the interactive session. So this week we are not going to have it because of the mid on Monday, but the other group we missed last time. So this week I'm going to have it for them, right? Not for everyone. So the first group, I'm not going to have the interactive session for this week, but those who have missed last time, we are going to have it this week after the mid-semester examination. Right, so that's all what I have for today. So the remaining 1 hour, I want you to spend with Excel by calculating all the cost and benefits to present value and adjust it. And then based on that, you are going to calculate the difference between the total cost and the project. Right. That's all for guys for today. So I'll stop at this point. Right. Please work on the problem, and then I will put up the link in fields so that you can upload that.